Hello everyone and welcome to the Social Media 101 webinar. Presenting today, I'm Hallie Astrabadi, Vice President Client Services at ClubRunner, and I'm joined by Divya Tandon, who's our in-house marketing specialist. Just a quick note, here are some of the social media channels that you can follow us on: Facebook, Twitter, our blog, as well as our LinkedIn beta users group, where there's a lot of really great discussions taking place. So our agenda today will be going to cover an overview of social media, focusing a little bit more on Facebook and Twitter. We're going to talk about how to promote your brand, your club's brand, and the Rotary brand on social media. We'll look at some tips and tricks on how to create posts, do shares, some of the different tactics that you could use to promote your brand using these measures. And finally, we'll look at how to integrate these various social channels into your ClubRunner site. And then we're going to wrap it up with an actual live demo. So let's take a quick look at some quick facts on all the various social media platforms. These are not in any particular order, but I think the point here is to really see the size of the audience that we're looking at. So Facebook alone's got 1.7 billion users as of today. Of course, that's rapidly increasing. Another big point here is that 91% of mobile traffic is taking place on social media. So everyone is on their phone. Most of the time they are going on Facebook or LinkedIn. So this is a really great audience that you can capture.
It's important to note that when you're actually talking about social media, your social media platforms cannot replace your website. The two have to work together, and the purpose of having both is to be able to drive traffic back to your website. Your goal is always to drive traffic from these social platforms to your website, where you can share more information with your audience.
So why social media, and what's the difference between social media and your website? Social media is really about relationship building and advocating your causes, and also about conversations. So whereas a website is more of a formal publication to disseminate information, social media allows you to have a two-way conversation and really engage with members and other people within your community so that you could further build your brand and meet some of your membership goals. So what we really like to advise clubs on is, before even creating your profile page for Facebook, is sit down and ask yourself, what is the purpose of us having the social media account? Because you have to know what your end goal is, and that's really going to affect your strategy. So what are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to just promote Rotary in general or promote your club? Are you going after younger members? Are you just going to try to engage your existing membership? And you could have a variety of different things within your goal. And part of that is answering the question of who your audience will be.
And once you actually, obviously when you're deciding on why you need a social platform, you also have to look at what social platforms there are out there. Like I mentioned, there are many, many to choose from. So you really have to understand the purpose of each social platform out there, for example, and who uses them. For example, Facebook, with 1.7 billion users, everyone uses Facebook, and it's primarily used to share interesting facts, pictures, your thoughts on things, whereas Twitter has mostly a younger crowd between 18 to 50, and that's primarily who your audience would be on those platforms. And Twitter is meant, you're limited in the amount of characters you can use, so it's limited to engaging in conversations, back and forth, and linking to articles outside of the platform back to your site. Whereas YouTube, with billions of people using it, is meant to be able to post your videos online. And videos is something that always attracts the attention of people. It's a great way to actually grab eyeballs, to get your message across in the most effective way. So it's really a platform you should consider using if you're not using it already.
The rest of these, probably the next one, these aren't in any particular order, but LinkedIn, if you're going to be going after more of the professional business people, that would be a good one to work on. But the other two, Pinterest and Instagram, probably more for Instagram, probably more of the younger generation. There's also Snapchat. So you don't have to go on everything. Just pick the ones that you want to start focusing on and then build it from that point on.
And we recommend starting, of course, with Facebook and Twitter as your main primary ones. But even if we had to choose one, we'd say pick Facebook first.
So what are the typical concerns and obstacles that are going to come up as you want to implement a social media strategy in your club? So some people might say, oh, well, social media, it's not for us. You know, this isn't for our club. We don't want to make what goes on in our meetings public. We don't have anyone to manage these accounts. We don't know anything about this. What are we going to post? We already have a website. That should be enough. And who's even going to follow us?
So to combat all of those concerns, you're going to have a plan of action, and that's important to do. Just like businesses have an entire social media department that looks after this, consider creating a small social media committee. It could be 2 to 4 members, and divide the responsibilities amongst these members, where one member could be in charge of just taking pictures from your meetings, from the club activities, which you could post online, both on your website and on these platforms, where another member could be in charge of taking that content and then coming up with intriguing headlines which will capture the interest of people seeing it in their news feeds. One person specifically, you can assign them the duty of just going out and finding influencers to follow and following other accounts. And what happens when you follow other accounts is that encourages others to follow you back, and that grows your audience. So just creating different responsibilities, actually dividing them down into tasks, allows you to get a lot more done. And finally, create a content calendar. And what we mean by that is not what you're going to be posting online particularly per se. It's the frequency of how much you're going to post online. That could be 2 to 3 times a month. So create that and then stick to it.
So the question is what to post. You already have the content and you already have the branding, and that's why this is such an easy task for you to do. So the first thing is, what is Rotary? We always assume that everybody knows what it is. So being very obvious and kind of stating what it is and continuing to repeat that message. Interesting facts. We've got a different theme every month. November is Foundation Month. Talk about something to do with that. So those are just ideas to grab from. Another one is specific projects your club is working on. And we really want to focus on the word specific because Facebook is a very quickly changing, timely, informational feed. And it's not always just about this brochure post, look at our club, it's great. Be really specific and show a picture of that exchange student or whatever it is that you're doing and say, look what our club is working on. And always make sure it's something that's happening in the present time and not necessarily things that are in the past. So for example, instead of taking a photo of your event and then posting it the next day and say, look at what we did yesterday, take a photo of your members setting up for the event and say, setting up for Rib Fest starting tomorrow at 11 a.m. Looking forward to seeing everybody.
And then post about your achievements. All Rotary clubs do great work. And for example, your projects, post about them, post how successful they were. Talk about that and get people interested in the type of work your club does and the achievements. And very important, you have to understand that your audience isn't your members. The audience is non-members. So post information about how non-members can get involved. So if there is a Rib Fest happening and you need volunteers, talk about how others can get involved. And post again, about upcoming events, post that online. And an interesting new feature that Facebook just released is called Facebook Live. And what that allows you to do is when you're setting up for an event, for example, you can actually, with your camera, once you activate Facebook Live, you can have people watch what you're doing, setting up, or if you're hosting a club event, people can watch that live from anywhere in the world.
And at the very end, if you still can't think of anything, the beauty of Facebook is you can just share another club's post or you can share something from Rotary International.
Let's jump into branding, and there's something called visual branding, and that's what we're going to cover right now. When you're creating your Facebook profile or your Twitter profile, the very first thing what you're going to do is you're actually going to customize that profile. You're going to begin by adding your profile picture, a header image. And when you do this, you have to keep in mind that you have to keep in line with what your branding is. As a Rotary Club, or you already have that branding. You have the wheel. Rotary International provides you with a lot of these resources. So consider posting that and integrating that into your images. If you're going to be posting a header image, customize it to your club, add your logos, even if it's a picture of all of your members. Add some text to that photo to add some context to it. Who are these people? And add a logo on it as well to tie it in with branding. And there are multiple resources out there that allow you to actually edit these photos. You can actually go into the Rotary Branding Center and create a club logo right from their tool. And there are websites like PicMonkey and Photor.com allow you to actually create a specific header for Twitter, Facebook, and multiple other platforms and collages and customize them with your own text and photos. So consistency throughout all these channels is key. If you're going to have one header on your Facebook profile, keep that same profile header on your Twitter profile so you're not creating a disconnect.
So branding is also more than just your colors and images. You can achieve your brand through the language and the tone that you take when creating your posts. So think about how you want your club to be perceived by the world. What kind of an audience do you want to connect with, and adjust to fit that tone. So if you want to be perceived as fun and quirky, do you want to be formal, philanthropic? It could be a unique blend that really communicates what your club is all about. Content is also a way to share what your brand is about. So think about the kind of content that you want to start with. And I think it's more important to have specific targeted content. As for example, let's just start by always talking about our speakers or the upcoming events, and be consistent and always include that rather than jumping around all over the place. The idea and the goal is to become the thought leaders within your community for whatever it is that you're good at. So you become the go-to source and you engage in more conversation. And at the very end, just remember that social media is just people speaking to other people. So keep it authentic, and don't forget to keep the human side on all your posts.
So let's get into some best practices on how you actually reach a wider audience. Once you start posting online, there are a variety of things that you can do to actually remain successful. One of the things is to use hashtags. And hashtags are basically, you might have seen this online as well when you go through your social profiles, there's a word with a hashtag right in front of it. What it does is it creates a category of a topic of interest. And that categorizes your post into a listing and adds you to that listing where other people following that topic of interest can read up on. So for example, some of the most popular hashtags related to Rotary include End Polio Now or My Rotary Story, Rotary fundraising, and some of the most trending topics, these trending hashtags on Facebook and Twitter, these are weekly trending hashtags, are Giving Tuesday. And this is really related to fundraising. So there are a lot of nonprofits out there who ask for donations from their followers. And what they do is they categorize it under the hashtag Giving Tuesday. And a lot of people who follow that actually read up on the good work that these nonprofits are doing and then choose to donate to them. Similarly, there's Throwback Thursday. So if you did have an event that you worked on or a project that was really, really successful in the past, a way to bring it up and show your great work is to actually label it as Throwback Thursday.
So another best practice is to listen and to share. So start to tap into similar conversations and follow your influencers. Who are your club influencers? So easy examples are RI President, RI General Secretary, the Rotary social handle, or End Polio Now, and relate these posts back to your club. So instead of just sharing it and not adding to it, take that post, share it, and translate how that impacts your club. So as an example, if there was an End Polio Now post that was really interesting, you could share it and then relate, add a comment, to the top of the share to talk about what your club has done and add your thoughts.
And an example of that is, for example, if Rotary releases an article on why you should become part of Rotary, or why, so you can actually put your thoughts on why you should join your club and talk about who your members are, the type of fun that everyone has, the activities. So that's just an example of how you relate back to your club.
And just to build on that idea is you could also ask your members to get involved, because undoubtedly you will have your members following your club's page, and ask them to post what joining Rotary meant to them. So really, you're trying to create that momentum and build that conversation, because every time a member posts or shares or does anything with one of your posts, they're exposing that to all of their network. So it's a huge impact.
And another thing you want to do is you want to monitor the conversations that are occurring online. Apart from clicking on the hashtag and viewing all the conversations that are happening, to see what other people are saying online, there are a variety of software out there that you can download, such as TweetDeck. And what that allows you to do is that allows you to actually put certain topics that you're interested in knowing about when people tweet about them or post them on Facebook, and that you'll get an alert saying people are starting to talk about this. And that's the perfect opportunity for you to jump in and join the conversation as well.
And again, these are all at different phases that you might want to take. You don't have to do this all the time right from day one, but there's other tools like if this, then that. So you could actually program it so that it could do something based on another event. So what would be a good example
of that? So for example,
if
somebody did tweet about a fundraising drive that your club was involved in, you can set up a trigger saying, email me when somebody tweets about this. That's an example.
Yeah, because you want to be able to react right away and build on that momentum. So frequency of posts, keeping in mind that news feeds do fill up fast, we always like to tell clubs, don't be afraid to post often, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's better to have lots of content happening than less frequently, but you've polished it and you've made it perfect. And at the very, very bare minimum, obviously, the more the better, but new content, try to add at least 2 to 4 new posts per month. And I think that is something that most clubs can reasonably live with.
And don't be afraid to post the same posts again. You can rephrase them, but you can add that same messaging again. And the reason for that is because you want to reach your audience as many times as you can. And the reality is that when you're on a social platform, they're following many other pages. They have a lot of friends that they're connected with. So their news feeds are already populated with a lot of information. So post your messages again, repeat your messages just to be able to get in on their newsfeed so that the chances of them seeing your posts increases. And another thing you should think about is when you have an important announcement you want to make, you can actually pin that to the top of your Facebook page or your Twitter page. And that what allows that to do is that allows your post to remain on that prime real estate, which is the top area of your profile, so that if anybody actually lands on your page, that's the very first thing they're going to see.
Some other great ideas to encourage more activity on your social media channels is gamification. So encourage engagement by creating incentives for people to post, like, or share your feeds. So as an example, if this post gets 100 likes and 100 shares, our club's going to donate $10,000 to end polio now. So create a game and really get everybody excited to participate in it. Or even you could even do something like our page and get 3 months off your membership fee waived when you join our club. It could have been something you were willing to do anyway as part of your promotion, but you might as well use that to encourage to build up your likes.
And there are a lot of tools available in these platforms that let you actually monitor how successful you are. And so, for example, when you log into your analytical reports, you're actually going to be able to see how many people actually engaged with that specific post, whether they clicked on it, or how many likes you got, where these people are even coming from, and which posts actually drove the traffic back to your site. And if you see things are not actually working, if you see a low engagement rate, then try something else. Try posting at different times, at different days. People are online at all times, but your post may be successful at a specific time. So you really have to engage and figure out what is the best time for you to post your updates.
And just as a note, we will be doing a live demonstration very shortly. So some best practices when you are setting up your page, there is a bio section, and it's really important to make sure you do fill that out. Because, again, don't assume that everybody knows exactly what Rotary is, what your club is. So ask yourself, what should non-members know about our club? Keep it simple, but go into enough detail that it's it's engaging. And make sure you include your website link because it's going to be right there front at the very top. And people often will click on that button to go to the official website. And of course, your contact information.
And this seems like information that's common, but we actually visited a bunch of pages before this webinar, and out of I believe there was 15 to 20, and out of those, all the Facebook pages that we actually visited, only 2 had their website link online, and only 3 actually had a actual bio. Everybody else actually had a blank section. So this is very important for you and to be able to engage with your members and non-members, so take advantage of it. And there are a lot of there are also call to action buttons that you can add to your profiles. They can be customized to whatever you want. So you can actually add something that says contact us or visit our website or get in touch with us. And they'll lead your visitors to that specific page. So take advantage of the call to action buttons and add them to your pages.
So I want to talk a little bit about how to integrate social media a little bit more with your ClubRunner site. So the first thing you want to think about is use your ClubRunner site to create landing pages for some of these social campaigns. So Divya just mentioned the call to action. So one of them could be, how to join. You can, instead of throwing them right onto your homepage and then they're kind of sitting there saying, okay, what next? Create a really specialized landing page. It doesn't have to be found on the menu. It could be completely independent, but that call to action page goes directly there and it really targets them and says exactly what's in it for me and how exactly they can come to a meeting. Or maybe you want to approach it a little softly and say, hey, sign up for their newsletter here so that you can, stay up to date on all the different things that we're involved in.
Now, ClubRunner also has a social media share bar, and what you can do is you can add that to a variety of different pages on your website, from your events to your photo albums, stories. So definitely actually take advantage of that, because what that allows people to do is when they visit your site, if they like what they see, they can share it with their friends. And so you're going to be able to cast and reach a wider audience because you're giving your visitors the tools to share your stories and data.
And we actually recommend asking all members to go and share those various events or posts, because you're tapping into each of your members' individual social networks. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, there is a way to display social feeds right into your ClubRunner page. So if you can see from the screenshot at the top left, and we're going to show it a live example, you can have your Twitter feed appearing right there, and it'll automatically update as you tweet. So that just adds to your website. It gives people a little bit more of a up-to-the-minute update on exactly what's happening in your club. So we're going to launch now into the live look.
So the very first thing we're going to look at is how to actually create a Facebook profile. When you go to Facebook, there's actually an area called Create a Page. And what you're going to do is you're just going to go to Create a Page. You're going to select that you're a company, organization, or institution. You're going to go nonprofit organization, add your Rotary Club name. If I do that, and I go get started, it'll ask me to log into my Facebook account, and then it's going to link the page to my Facebook account. And from there, it's going to just take me to primarily this, where it's going to say, okay, add your header image, add your profile image, and let's get started with your first post. And that's exactly how you create a Facebook profile. A lot of Rotary clubs, we've noticed, actually, instead of creating a Facebook page, create a Facebook profile for their Rotary Club. And a profile is exactly what you have. The reason that we don't recommend creating a Facebook profile is because then people have to friend your page. You have to actually send friend requests to people you want to connect with if you're creating a Facebook profile for your Rotary Club. So keep in mind that is not what you want to do. You want to create a page. And once you've created a page, you can invite your friends to like this page. And when you click on this, it basically pulls out your entire contact list. You can email everybody. You can send the invites to your friends. It'll send it directly through Facebook, and they get an invitation to like the page. Now, because you want to create a committee, you want to give people you want to give your social media committee members access to this Facebook page as well. So if I created it, I'm the administrator. So in order for me to give access, for example, to Hallie, I would go into the settings area and I would go to page roles. And Facebook has a number of Facebook access roles that you can give other members of your Rotary Club. So they recommend editor. If you don't want to give administrator access, then we recommend giving editor. And what the editor can do is they can also edit the page. They can post on the page and send messages. And they can engage with people who are engaging with this page. And very simple thing to do, if you already have the Rotary member as a friend on your Facebook, you would just type in their names. So if I type in my name, I would send an invitation. I would type in my password, and then I would get an invite on my Facebook to actually join as an administrator or editor for this page. And that's how you keep adding new people so that they can also work with you and help you with your Facebook page. To add a header image, it's very easy. All you do is you hover over this area, you click on Change Cover, and if you already have a photo that you created from one of the resources we talked about earlier, you would just click on Upload Photo and select it from your folder. Alternatively, you can also just choose from the existing photos that you have. So I can change it to something else and click on Save. And then my header is changed. Okay? So let's go over, we talked about, now what we're going to do is actually, because we talked about hashtags and we talked a lot about that, we're actually going to go ahead and use that example right away. So let's say, for example, so that's our call to action. We want someone to engage with us, so we're saying comment below to receive a copy of our presentation. And we're going to start categorizing it. We're going to say, now there's no limit on the amount of hashtags you can use. In fact, anywhere between 2 to 3 the use of 2 to 3 hashtags actually gets you about a 56% higher engagement rate. So use the hashtags because you will get a higher engagement rate. You will get more people seeing your posts. So that's just the hashtag. Now, for example, now I posted it and I want to actually look into.
Someone was asking about pinning and unpinning, so
Right.
we could look at that next.
So say, for example, I click on ClubRunner because that's one of the hashtags I use. I can now actually see what other people have been talking about using that hashtag as well. So these are just some posts that I've been able to tap into. So similarly, when you use hashtags Rotary and Polio Now, you will see a variety of posts from other people. And if you really like something, you can actually be like, hey, I want to share this post. So you can share it. And this is where you would add something. And post. Okay? So back to the pinning. What happens when you want to pin the post is I'm just going to go back to the Facebook page. This is an example of a pinned post, and you know the post is pinned is when you see this tag up here. And so that's what we meant by it takes up prime real estate on your page. It's the first thing somebody sees. And keep in mind, you don't want to leave your post pinned for too long. So if you have an announcement here from 2014, it's probably time to take it down. Otherwise, it looks like you're not that active. So if I want to pin this post, for example, what I just did, I would go to that post, I would click on the drop down, and I would just simply click on Pin to Top. And what that does is that replaces what I had pinned, and this is now my latest pinned post. Now, for example, say I had an interesting post, maybe I was having a membership drive, and this is something that clubs do, we've seen a lot of clubs do, is if a club is having a membership drive and they really want to reach a wider audience, an audience that's not directly connected to this page, Facebook and Twitter both have functions where you can actually boost your posts. And what that does is that actually allows you to send your posts to other people's news feeds, and it basically allows you to cast a wider net, reach a wider audience. What you would do is you would simply click on Boost Post, and this again is optional. It's only for what, and we recommend using it only when you need to or when it's an absolute necessity or you really want to reach a wider audience for something that...
Because this costs money, right?
Because this costs money.
Yeah.
So what you could do is you click on Boost and you can say, well, you know what? I want to target people that I choose. So I can say, because I'm having a membership drive and I want to attract more people in my community, I can say I want to target everybody between the ages of 18 to 65, but located only in Canada. And I can say their interest should be Rotary, for example. I can even go ahead and specify interests. What would be another example?
Volunteering, philanthropy.
So I can just keep adding activities. And so what Facebook is going to do is, based on everything that I'm defining here, it's going to find that audience. And once I click, so let me just quickly save that. It's going to find that audience. It's going to start showing your Facebook posts to them. And this is where you set your budget. I think there is a minimum. You have to have a $1 budget at least. But typing in what your budget is, it will actually show you how many people you will actually reach. So from the audience that I'd set up, saying in Canada only, that have the following interests on their profile, it found 480,000 people. And if I have a budget of $5, it's going to target about 720 people, which is great. So that's a good start for me. And I can say I want this to actually, well, I'll say I want my posts to show up on everyone's profile for 1 day, and I want it to run until whatever day. You set up your payment method and you click on Boost, and what's going to happen then is if Hallie does not like my Facebook page, she's actually going to see that Facebook post on her newsfeed anyway.
That's the one that looks like suggested post.
Exactly. It's going to say suggested post or sponsored post, and then she's going to, it's something that she's not used to seeing on her Facebook page, so naturally it's going to actually capture her attention. What is this? And then you might even click on it, which means you just reached an extra person, which you might not have otherwise. So that is how you boost your posts. And it's the exact same concept on Twitter. It's the same thing called Boost. When you tweet something, you would just click on Boost my tweet to create your audience, and then they will also see that tweet.
Okay. So we're just going to take a quick look at some questions. And then also what I would like to show is how to go to another page and share an existing post. We perhaps can go to Rotary International's page.
Regarding the question, what does the target audience see when they are included in the boost? They're going to see your post. So if this is what I boosted, then this is what they would see. ClubRunner's post, having a great time in Social Media 101 webinar. So whatever you type is whatever they'll see. So if I wanted to share a post, let's go to Rotary International's Facebook page. So, see, this is a great example of a call to action as well. Their call to action is donate. And if you wanted to see their bio, it's an actual page. So you would just click on About, and this is a prime example of what a bio page should look like. How to find them, message them, get directions, what their mission is, contact information. So this is a great example of what a biography should look like. So let's say, and again, this is where we were talking about videos. Facebook actually autoplays videos. So, and what studies have shown is when people are actually on their newsfeed and when they see a video autoplay, they will actually stop and begin to watch it.
I always slow down and I just give it a few seconds, and if it can capture my attention, I'll keep watching.
So this is why you should use videos. post your video on Facebook and then link it to your YouTube page. And to do that, you would just simply type in the link right over here, youtube.com/whatever the link to the video was, and the video will just show up. So say, for example, I want to now share this. I would click on share. I would say share. And I want to share this on a page I manage. This is important because what is happening is the Facebook page is linked to your Facebook profile. So always make sure when you're sharing something, you click here and you say you want to share it on the page that you manage. And
oh, I see, because you're logged in to Facebook as yourself,
yes,
and you're just managing this page as an editor and administrator.
Exactly.
So you don't want to just share it to your own friends. You want to actually share it
with your people who like your page.
People who like your page.
So important, always just say share on a page you manage. Select the page, and then
this is where we say, don't just share it, say something about it and relate it back to your club. And can you mention your own page and people can click on it?
And that's how you can. So you can mention your own page. You can mention other people's pages as well. To do a mention, you click on @ you click on the page. And the fact that it's highlighted means that it's selected and it's going to show up as a mention. So I can say, so I'm mentioning Rotary International. What happens when you do mentions is that entity gets a notification that you have mentioned them in a post. So let's just categorize it.
I would say, because it's about interact, would we say hashtag interact?
And then you would click on post. The fact that I mentioned Rotary in it, Rotary International, when they log in, whoever's managing this page will get a notification up here that'll say ClubRunner has mentioned them in a post. So what they'll be able to do is they'll be able to...
So I could see we got a couple of comments.
So we did get a couple of comments, which is great. We're glad you're finding this useful. So here's the shared post that we just posted, grabbed from Rotary International's video. And you can see that's the mention. And why you want to mention people is, again, if I mention another club, for example, they get that notification, they might mention us back, or our club back, saying, hey, thanks for the mention, and you're also doing great work. There could be a conversation that occurs, but the mere fact of you mentioning them is allowing you to now build connections with them and create that relationship.
So that's all part of that two-way conversation. Sounds like there's like social media karma. So if you repost and share, you hope to get some of that back.
Exactly, and that's usually the etiquette online anyway. When you do repost and share and mention other clubs, the etiquette is to do the same. So if they follow you, the etiquette is to follow them back.
Excellent.
And now we're going to quickly cover how to actually post your Facebook page or your Twitter feed onto your ClubRunner website, because this is a question that many, many people ask us, and it's popular, and it's a great way to tie in everything together. So what happens is, once you're logged into your Facebook, for example, there's an area called Facebook for Developers, and the best way to get to this page is to Google it. All you got to do is Google embed Facebook page to website. That'll get you to the Facebook developers page, which I've opened up right here. And because we're logged in, our information is already populated here. And it's already populated to page plugin. It was pre-selected for us. So they have a variety of different things that you can actually add to your site. If you have a Facebook page, then you want to add your Facebook page to your website. So all you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, well, do I want to hide the cover photo? Select it. It'll hide the cover photo. Do I want to keep it? Keep it. I think you should keep it. All you're going to do is click on Get Code. And you're going to click on iframe up here. You're going to grab this code, and to copy it, all you're going to do is on your keyboard, you're going to press Control-C. That copies it. you're going to go to your website. And if you don't have website admin access, you can just email this code to your website developer or the website designer, and they can embed this right onto your site. All they have to do is they have to just go to the website designer area. They can grab a widget. So see, I have one here, but basically all I did was I said, okay, I'm going to grab the widget.
So this is a custom widget.
Exactly. And it's a custom widget. I'm going to name it so I know what it is. And go to the source area. And I'm going to click on Control V from my keyboard to paste that code right in here. And all I have to do is click on Save and Publish. So what that does now is added my Facebook page right onto my site. And it's just going to take a little bit of time to load because this is still loading. But here it is.
Oh, there we go.
Here it is. And so say a visitor comes to your site and they really like it and they see that you're on Facebook, they're like, you know what, I want to follow them on Facebook so I get their updates there as well, and then you tie that in.
And I can see the like page button is right there at the very top.
Right over there. Yeah. And it tells you everything that they need to know. They can do it. And this is live. So as you continue to post, it'll update here. The concept is the same with Twitter. All you have to do is say, how do I, you log into your Twitter account. And then what you do is you click on the settings area. So clicking on this icon will get you to the settings area. You're going to click on settings. Once you're in settings, you're going to look here. What do you know they call it? Widgets. So you're going to click on create new. We've already done this in the past, so which is why it exists here. But what you're going to do if you've never done this is you're going to click on create new and profile. And what's going to happen is it's the exact same thing as what we showed you on Facebook. It's going to give you the code. And you're just going to simply name it as what you would like. Here it is. And the code is right here in this window. So you can't really see it, but you're going to just click on it once to highlight everything. Click Control Copy. And the concept is the exact same. You're going to go here. You're going to grab a page-specific widget. And what a page-specific widget is, for someone that doesn't know, is it's a widget to be used on the home page only or on this page only. If you want to reuse this widget, like, for example, the Facebook widget that we just added, or you want to reuse this Twitter widget on other pages of your website, then go ahead and grab the Global Custom widget, because in that case, you're going to be able to place that in all areas of your site. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab the widget, put it in here, and paste the source code in. Once you've done that and clicked on Save, here it is.
Ta-da!
And so if somebody's actually following this, they can just go directly on Twitter from here and follow you right there as well. And another thing which is really interesting also to keep in mind when you're using Twitter is take a look at the trends occurring in your area. These are the most widely talked about topics on Twitter in your area, and this changes constantly. So like we said earlier in the webinar, a bunch of popular topics such as Throwback Thursday, Wednesday Wisdom. If you see that they're trending, go ahead and jump into that conversation at that time, because that is when it's most active. So keep a lookout for what the trends are.
Okay, so we got a bunch of questions about the website. The website template that was on the example that was used. So that was one of our next generation themes, which we released probably, I would say, about 8 or 9 months ago. They are much more modern and much more responsive, and we do encourage everyone to switch over to it. So if you just go to our website and search on our knowledge base, search next generation website. And if you're having difficulty switching over, it's really actually quite easy. You can always get in touch with our support team. But clubrunnersupport.com is the best place to go. And you can literally just type it right into that search area. We have improved it dramatically. We switched it over to Google search, and that will give you the guide that you need to switch over. And there it is. So then we'll just quickly go and look at, we'll try to focus on some of the questions relating to the topic at hand. I think you could just Alt-Tab. We'll grab it. Okay, so there are a couple of questions being asked about the whether this recorded video is going to be made available. Yes, we are going to be sending that out to everybody who has registered.
Now I see a question on whether you can actually select cities when you're boosting a post. You can. We didn't cover that, but there is another. You can dive into the specifics and select the cities as well. When we do send an email out answering everybody's questions in detail, we'll add how you can do that.
Oh, so there's a question about will instructions for how to embed the Facebook and Twitter feeds in ClubRunner be included? Yes, that's actually something that is probably already covered in our knowledge base, but we'll make sure to include that in our email when we send it out.
Do I need a Facebook page or a profile? So in order to create a Facebook page, you need to have a profile already. Because if you try to create a Facebook page, Facebook will ask you to log in. So if you have a Facebook profile already, log into that first and then go ahead and create the page. If you don't have a Facebook profile and you don't have a page, the very first step would be to create a profile first. Does it make sense to use Instagram? You can most definitely use Instagram. Instagram is where you would share a lot of your pictures and activities. So again, think of who your audience is. If your audience does use Instagram, or by all means go ahead and create an Instagram account and post pictures and videos of all the great work that your club does.
And there was a question about, is it appropriate to acknowledge people that like the club's posting? How about approaching people about their interest in joining Rotary? What do you think of that, Divya?
Yes, if anybody's liking the post, or you can, I've seen a lot of clubs say, hey, thanks for liking my post. If they're non-members, I've even seen clubs ask, are there any questions I can answer? It's not a regular practice, however, to actually acknowledge people that are liking the club's post. If the people are actually commenting on your post, that is when you would actually go ahead and acknowledge.
Yeah, so it's in a way you don't want to scare them away.
Yeah.
So just engage in their comment. If they do comment, reply back, focusing on the topic at hand.
Because people will like. I mean, when I'm scrolling through, I like anything and everything, but so it's not general practice, nor am I expecting anybody to actually comment and reply back to the fact that I like the post.
Mm-hmm.
So always, that's why we say add a call to action where you can try and engage in a conversation of some sort. So try to get people to comment on your posts. In terms of how do you approach people about their interest in joining Rotary, pose a question. You can even have, for example, Facebook Live is a feature you can use where you can even go promote it beforehand, say we're going live on the 11th where we're going to answer questions about Rotary. And anybody scrolling through Facebook at that time will see you live online and then can ask their questions right away.
Yeah, and I think I would add to that is keep the ask minimal. I think nobody wants to just be, maybe not want to commit right away to joining a club, but maybe invite them to come out to the next meeting. That would be a great way to start.
On platforms like Twitter, you can create a survey. There's an option there where you can add a survey. So, for example, your tweet could be, are you interested in joining our club, yes or no? And then people, if they see that tweet, they can simply answer yes or no. So not much work required from them. It's just simply answering the question.
I know there was a question a while ago about we already have a Facebook page. It's currently abandoned. Should we take it down or should we come up with a strategy to keep it going? What do you think of that?
I would say if you already have that presence, then use it. Don't delete it.
Because you've got obviously some historical information on there.
You have historical information, and you already have the likes and the followers. So if you have that information, that data, don't abandon it. Just start again. Mm-hmm. And could be a course post we're back or something, and just start from there.
And just continue. Yeah. And then the last question here was, what if we have a page but our admin left and no one was added? How can we get someone else added? Or do we need to start over and have Facebook take the existing page down? So that's more of a, somebody else created it and, you know, they left and they're halfway across the country. What do you do? Is there a way to kind of regain that?
This is why we say always have more than one administrator. And if you cannot get in touch with them again, if you can't get in touch with them and have them add someone as an administrator, I'm not sure if Facebook will give you control of that page because it is under someone else's name. So I would have to look into that, actually. I'm not sure.
But that's an excellent point, and I'm glad that that came up. So I think the takeaway is make sure there are at least 2 or 3, you know, quote-unquote long-standing members that have access to it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, excellent.
Should Twitter and Facebook pages have different content? No, not necessarily, but the way you're going to phrase them on both platforms will be a little bit different. And the reason for that is because Facebook limits you in the number of characters that you can post. You can only post 140 characters online on Twitter. So obviously you're going to have to shorten whatever you're saying there versus how you can phrase it on Facebook. So for the sake of consistency, post it on all the platforms, but phrase it differently on each.
And I know we didn't have time to go over Twitter today, but I think the difference, what would you say the difference in the tone between Twitter and Facebook would be?
Well, the tone can be the same, really. It's just that you're just shortening what you're saying on Twitter. So it'd be quick, and it would be even more informal than how you would sound on Twitter. Mm-hmm. I mean, on Facebook, because you have that limited character space. So instead of saying, we are looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow, which is something you post on Facebook, on Twitter you'd be forced to shrink it down to looking forward to seeing everyone tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So same thing, just different. You're just wording it differently, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And Twitter is, I guess, more of a two-way conversation. So when you have a mention, whereas you have a mention in Facebook, it's just kind of a nice to have. You can actually put @ in front of their.
Yeah, on Twitter, you're also mentioning. So again, on Twitter, if you want to mention somebody, you would say @ with their Twitter handle, and then that's a way to start a conversation as well. It's the exact same concept as Facebook.
Okay, excellent. All right, that seems to be all the questions that we have for today. So thank you very much for everybody for joining us. Sounds like we're getting some great feedback so far, and we do hope to repeat this. There are a lot of things that we kind of, would like to improve upon, but I think this was pretty good as a start, and we hope that everyone will try to get something started, and perhaps, when we have the next session, there could be more people that could take advantage of it, and we'll just increase the number of activity. Rotary needs to really shout it out, and social media is a wonderful platform for that.
And as you make changes to your Facebook, comment on our Facebook page and let us know what you're doing so we can take a look too. We have that post online about the webinar, so comment on that and let us see what you've been doing.
All right. Thank you very much, Divya. And thank you, everybody. And we hope to hear from you very soon.
Thank you, everyone.